It was supposed to be the dawn of a new era. Lewis Hamilton in red, Ferrari reignited, and Formula One's most iconic partnership finally unleashed. But as the 2025 Canadian Grand Prix looms, the reality couldn't be further from the dream. Hamilton remains podium-less in a scarlet car, the Scuderia are slipping backwards, and in a twist of fate, the FIA's flexi-wing clampdown, designed to tighten the grid, has inadvertently crippled Ferrari's hopes and swallowed half their front-wing development budget. Now, whispers in the paddock suggest that even Hamilton is beginning to lose patience, and the team might soon be forced to throw in the towel on 2025 altogether. The FIA's new flexi-wing regulations were introduced under the guise of fairness, ensuring no team exploited overly flexible front-wing components to gain aerodynamic advantages. But in Ferrari's case, the punishment wasn't just performance loss, it was financial. F1's damning report confirms that 50% of Ferrari's 2025 front-wing development budget was spent adapting to the new tests, only for the updated wing to be 0.1 seconds slower per lap. That number may seem trivial, but in the high-stakes margins of F1, it's catastrophic. What's worse, that tenth was lost not in pursuit of pace, but in the effort to comply. It's the ultimate irony. Ferrari obeyed the rules and got slower, while McLaren, the team they hoped to catch, surged to a dominant 1-2 in Spain. Hamilton knew the move to Ferrari would be a long-term project, but even he didn't anticipate starting the 2025 campaign without a single podium finish by round 9. His best result so far, a lonely P4 at Imola, is now being framed not as progress but as an outlier. Behind closed doors, Hamilton is reportedly growing increasingly vocal about his discomfort with the SF25. Despite public positivity about the new front wing, the data paints a bleaker picture. Ferrari may have added outwash and front-end stability, but the result is a stiffer car that feels inconsistent in Hamilton's hands. Worse yet, the front wing changes haven't paired well with the rest of the SF25's architecture, creating an unbalanced platform that's hard to drive and harder to trust. He's also trailing George Russell, the very teammate he left behind, by 40 points in the standings. Russell has 4 podiums, Hamilton has none. It wasn't just the money Ferrari burned that stings, it's the time. The 8 months spent designing, simulating, testing and validating the new front wing will never come back. And with 50% of the season's development budget already gone, Ferrari's capacity for major upgrades is shrinking fast. This explains why the rear suspension upgrade, slated for deployment in Canada or Austria, carries so much weight. Ferrari insiders believe it could finally address Hamilton's biggest complaint: unpredictability over bumps and during corner entry. But if that doesn't deliver, Ferrari may have no choice but to follow their star driver's lead and pivot to 2026. The consequences of Ferrari's regulatory misfire aren't just internal, their slump has emboldened rivals. McLaren, now comfortably ahead in the constructors' standings, know they've gained more than just performance. They've gained psychological leverage. When Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri crushed Ferrari in Spain, it sent a loud message. McLaren have adapted better to the new flexi-wing regulations and are maximising their aero efficiency despite the clampdown. Even Mercedes, struggling by their own standards, smell blood. George Russell has more than double the number of podiums Hamilton has since his move. And if Mercedes Canada upgrade package delivers, they could leapfrog Ferrari in raw pace. In other words, the Scuderia's P2 dream is slipping, and even P3 could soon be at risk. Fred Vasseur may still believe in the SF25, but the rest of the garage tells a different story. Internal morale has nosedived. Several mechanics and engineers, especially those who worked on the flexi-wing project, now feel like scapegoats for a regulation miscalculation they had no power to prevent. According to Italian outlet Corriere dello Sport, multiple staff members have quietly joined Hamilton in pressing for an early development shift to 2026. Their argument is simple. If Ferrari can't catch McLaren this season, then why waste another euro or hour chasing shadows? This growing internal schism is now Vasseur's biggest challenge, because if the team stops believing, then even the 2026 project, the supposed salvation, risks being poisoned before it begins. Here's the twist. Hamilton's lack of results hasn't weakened his influence, it's strengthened it. Insiders say he's already pushing Ferrari's technical leadership to rethink their 2026 car philosophy, especially the front-end concept and suspension geometry. He wants something closer to the stable yet agile feel of his 2020 to 2021 Mercedes, not the oversensitive SF25. And Ferrari, aware of his legacy and leverage, are listening. The upcoming simulator sessions in Maranello are now being shaped around Hamilton's feedback. And if the team ultimately ditches further 2025 development, it'll be his voice, not Vasseurs, that drove the shift. If Ferrari heed Hamilton's call and shift full focus to 2026, it may mark the beginning of something greater. The new engine regs, active aero rules, and reduced drag formula present a clean slate, one that could finally level the playing field. For the first time in years, Ferrari has a proven world champion at the helm, a team boss willing to back bold decisions, and a regulation reset looming. Yes, 2025 may be a write-off, but if they get 2026 right, this painful sacrifice could be the price of future glory. There's also growing discontent across the paddock toward the FIA's clampdown strategy. Ferrari aren't alone in believing the flexi-wing rules were rushed, ill-defined, and overly intrusive. Sources suggest several teams, not just Ferrari, spent significant budget adapting to the new load tests, only to end up slower. And now, a few are lobbying for clearer consultation ahead of further technical directives, fearing the FIA's next clampdown could derail yet another development roadmap. It's unlikely the governing body will admit fault, but behind closed doors, the noise is growing louder. What adds to the complexity is that some engineers from rival teams now privately admit that their own cars might be sailing close to the edge of legality, but the FIA's narrow enforcement window has allowed inconsistencies. Ferrari, who took the conservative route, paid the price. Meanwhile, Red Bull's interpretations and McLaren's resourceful ducting systems have drawn less scrutiny, raising eyebrows about who truly benefits from these regulatory overhauls. The politics of Formula One never sleep, and Ferrari find themselves once again questioning whether regulatory frameworks are inadvertently favouring their rivals. It wouldn't be the first time in the turbo-hybrid era that Ferrari have been left reacting rather than leading. Amid all this, Hamilton has doubled down on behind-the-scenes work. Sources close to the team reveal that he has requested extra sessions in the driver-in-the-loop simulator to assist the 2026 concept team. He's also pushed Ferrari to engage external consultants for aerodynamic benchmarking, a move that suggests he's not just committed, he's invested in rebuilding from the ground up. Interestingly, some former Ferrari personnel now at Aston Martin and Sauber have echoed that the Scuderia's biggest issue isn't a lack of resources, but misaligned leadership. Hamilton's arrival, they argue, might be the spark Ferrari needs to synchronize their engineering efforts with a winning mindset. It's not just about faster parts, it's about smarter strategy, faster decision-making, and driver-engineer trust. There's also been chatter that Ferrari's 2026 engine could be one of the lightest on the grid, a potential game-changer under the upcoming regulations. Hamilton's connections to Mercedes' past hybrid triumphs could help Ferrari fine-tune their package to peak efficiency, especially with active aero expected to play a massive role. With morale splintering, budget shrinking, and points slipping away, Ferrari faces a familiar crossroads: cling to a failing present or bet everything on a better future. If they choose the latter, Lewis Hamilton might just be the architect of Ferrari's long-awaited return to the top. But if they hesitate, if they keep spending to salvage a season already slipping away, then 2025 won't just be another missed opportunity, it'll be another chapter in the book of what could have been. Should Ferrari sacrifice the rest of 2025 and go all in on 2026 for Hamilton, or is it too early to give up on this season? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, goodbye for now.